Kenya, 2012. The savannah is dark. The kind of dark that has no streetlights, no city glow, nothing, just the African night and the sound of things moving in it. Inside a simple wooden stockade on the edge of Nairobi National Park, a family's cattle are sleeping. Outside, in the grass, something is watching. The lions come almost every night. They have come for years. And every morning, the family wakes up to count what they have lost. 2 cows last week, 3 the week before. These are not just animals. In the Maasai world, cattle are everything. They are wealth. They are survival. They are the difference between eating and not eating. The government experts came. Conservation organizations came. Scientists with degrees and funding and years of experience. They all came. And none of them solved it. Then a 12-year-old boy did. With $10, salvaged parts from a broken motorcycle, and one observation made while walking alone in the dark with a flashlight. He didn't go to university. He barely got to school. He had no laboratory, no funding, no scientific training, no mentor, no textbook for this. He had a problem. He had curiosity. He had a mind that no system had yet told what was impossible. His name is Richard Turere. He is a Maasai cattle herder from Kitengela, Kenya. And the invention he built in the dark, for $10, is now protecting families and wildlife across 5 continents. If they did, you can too. Let's go back. Not centuries. Just to the edge of Nairobi. To a community that has lived alongside wild lions for generations and paid for it in blood and loss. Nairobi National Park sits on the southern boundary of Kenya's capital city. It is the only national park in the world that shares a fence with a major city. Inside it, lions. Real, wild, hungry lions. And just beyond the park's southern boundary, the Maasai community of Kitengela. Families, livestock, children, a way of life built on cattle. For the Maasai, cattle are not simply food or income. They are heritage. They are identity. The number of cattle a family owns determines their standing, their security, their future. And the lions were taking them, night after night. In less than a decade, the lion population in Kenya had collapsed, from 15,000 animals to just 2,500. This sounds like a victory for the Maasai. Fewer lions, fewer attacks. Because when lions attack livestock, the Maasai retaliate. They hunt the lions, poison them, kill entire prides in a single night of retribution, which drives lions closer to extinction, which concentrates the remaining lions in smaller territories, which brings them closer to human settlements, which means more attacks. A cycle of loss feeding a cycle of violence, humans and lions destroying each other, and no one winning. Richard Turere is born into this world in 2001. He is a Maasai boy. His father raises cattle, his mother raises the family. The land they live on sits just 2 kilometers from the park boundary. By the time he is 6 years old, Richard understands one thing clearly. The lions are the enemy. I grew up hating lions, he will say later. They used to come at night and feed on our cattle when we were sleeping. When Richard is 9 years old, his father gives him a responsibility. He is now in charge of the cattle. Not as a game, not as a lesson, as a duty. This small boy, 9 years old, is responsible for an asset that feeds and finances his entire family. and the lions are still coming. The established community solutions don't work. Fire deters lions initially, but it is also dangerous and must be watched all night. Scarecrows work for exactly 1 day. The lions are intelligent. They study the patterns. They wait. They adapt. The experts have tried. Conservation organisations from Nairobi have come and gone. Government wildlife officers with their procedures and their meetings and their reports, they have come and gone. And every morning, the family still counts its losses. But Richard is different from the experts in one crucial way. He is not coming from outside the problem. He lives inside it. Every single night. And unlike the experts, no one has yet told Richard what is and is not possible. If you are finding this story as powerful as I did when I first heard it, subscribe right now. Every Sunday, the History Disruptors brings you another story of how ordinary humans found extraordinary solutions when no one else could. If they did, you can too. Now, let's meet the disruptor. Richard Turere is 11 years old. It is night on the Kitengela plain. The family's cattle are in the stockade, the Boma, a circular enclosure ringed with acacia branches. Outside, the grass is still. But not for long. Richard is doing what he does on his worst nights. He is walking, patrolling the perimeter of the stockade with a flashlight, checking the fence, checking the grass, watching for the glint of eyes in the dark. And then he notices something. When the light moves, the lions stay back. Not just once. Every time the beam sweeps the grass, every time it crosses a shadow, the lions hold their distance. The moment the light goes still, they edge forward. The moment it moves again, they retreat. They are not afraid of the light itself. They are afraid of the moving light. Because moving light means a human is awake, is watching, is present. Richard stands in the dark for a long time thinking. He has no physics textbook, no teacher guiding him, no research paper to cite. He has 11 years of living beside this problem. And one observation. What if the light kept moving, even when he was asleep? Now begins the work. And this is where Richard's story becomes something more than an invention story. This is where it becomes a story about what a mind can do when it has not yet been taught its own limits. Richard teaches himself electronics. Not from a school curriculum, from dismantling things. His mother's radio, parts from a broken motorcycle, components salvaged from junk. He takes things apart to understand how they work, and then he builds something new from what he finds. He connects LED light bulbs to poles around the stockade. He wires them to a box with switches. He attaches the box to an old car battery, charged by a small solar panel during the day. And then, the crucial piece, he adds the component from a car that makes the indicator lights blink. The lights flash, in sequence, moving around the perimeter of the stockade, tricking the lions into believing that someone is always walking, always watching, always awake. Total cost, $10. The first night Richard cannot sleep. He watches from the doorway of his home, counting the minutes, waiting for a sound that does not come. The cattle are still. The night is still. And in the grass beyond the stockade, nothing moves. The lights flash and trick the lions that I'm walking around the cowshed when I'm sleeping in my bed, Richard says later. His family has not lost a single animal since the night the lights first came on. But here is what defines Richard Turere as a true disruptor. He does not keep this to himself. His neighbours have the same problem, the same losses, the same sleepless nights. So Richard installs lion lights for them too, for free. Word spreads through Kitengela, then beyond. A conservationist named Paula Kahumbu, executive director of the Kenya Land Conservation Trust, hears about this boy and his $10 invention. She comes to see it herself. She finds a 12-year-old in a rural Maasai community who has solved, with salvaged parts and a car battery, what professional conservationists with international funding have failed to solve for years. One thing that's unique about Richard, she says, is that if you give him a problem, he'll keep working at it until he can fix it. He's not afraid of being unable to do something. And I think this is why he is such a good innovator, because he's not worried that it might not work. He's going to try and do it anyway. Kahumbu and her team do something remarkable. They find Richard a scholarship to Brookhouse International School, one of the finest educational institutions in Kenya, a Maasai cattle herder who barely got to school. Given a place among Kenya's academic elite because of $10 and an old car battery. In 2013, Richard Turere takes a plane for the first time in his life. He flies to Long Beach, California. He stands on the TED stage in front of some of the most educated, accomplished, resourced people on Earth. And he tells them what he made, what it cost, what it did. The audience gives him a standing ovation. Afterwards, someone asks Richard what impressed him most about California. Not the stage, not the scientists, not the technology. It was my first time, he says, seeing a shark. Here is what lion lights became. Not just in Kenya, not just in Africa. In Tanzania, Botswana, Namibia, Argentina, India. Adapted for leopards, for pumas, for hyenas, for elephants raiding crops in the night. The same $10 principle, moving light mimicking human presence, protecting farms and wildlife across 5 continents. Over 2,000 homes in Kenya alone. And the lions? While Kenya's lion population spent decades in freefall, dropping from 15,000 to under 3,000, the numbers have begun to stabilize. Conservation organizations credit multiple efforts, and lion lights is consistently named among them. Because when lions stop attacking livestock, communities stop killing lions. The cycle of violence that no expert could interrupt. A 12-year-old broke it. In 2013, Richard Turere founds the Lion Lights organization to formalize the work. In 2018, he receives the Anzisha Prize, one of Africa's most prestigious awards for young entrepreneurs. In 2020, he becomes a National Geographic Young Explorer. He later earns a bachelor's degree in global challenges and wildlife conservation. Kenya's youngest patent inventor, a boy who could barely get to school, now building a future on the foundation of an idea he found in the dark. Dr. Charles Musyoki, a senior scientist at Kenya Wildlife Service, says simply, "Since Richard invented his system, lions have never killed our livestock. Expert solutions failed. Community solutions failed. Government programs failed. A boy with a flashlight, a question, and $10 worth of salvaged parts succeeded." And this is not a story about luck. It is a story about what happens when a mind is free. Richard Turere had no textbook telling him the problem was unsolvable. No institution telling him that a 12-year-old cattle herder from Kitengela had no business redesigning wildlife conservation. No conditioning that made him dismiss his own observation as too simple to matter. He saw something. He asked why. He built something. He shared it. I want you to pause for a moment and sit with that. The world's most educated, best-funded conservation experts spent years on this problem. And the answer was found by a boy walking in the dark with a flashlight. Not because the experts were stupid, but because they already knew what was possible. Richard didn't. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what problem are you sitting inside right now? What do you see that the experts are missing because they're looking from the outside? Because your observation, however simple it seems, might be the $10 solution the world is waiting for. Now let's talk about what this means for you. So, what do we learn from Richard Turere? From a Maasai boy, a flashlight, and $10? 4 lessons, each one a disruption in itself. Lesson 1. The person closest to the problem is closest to the solution. Every expert who tried to solve the human-lion conflict in Kitengela came from outside. They arrived with frameworks built somewhere else, for problems that looked similar but were not identical. Richard lived inside the problem every single night. In your own life, the challenge you know most intimately is the one you are most qualified to solve. Your proximity is not a disadvantage, it is your greatest research tool. Stop waiting for someone with more credentials to notice what you already see. Lesson 2. Simplicity is not a weakness. It is often the whole point. Lion lights cost $10, LED bulbs, an old car battery, a blinker relay from a salvaged vehicle, a solar panel. The solution did not require a laboratory. It did not require a grant. It required one accurate observation and the willingness to act on it. We are trained to believe that real solutions must be complex, that if the answer looks too simple, it probably is. Richard Turere proves the opposite. The best solutions tend toward elegance, toward less. The goal is not sophistication, it is effectiveness. Lesson 3. Sharing the solution is part of the invention. Richard installed lion lights in his neighbours' homesteads, for free. He asked for nothing. He could have charged. He could have waited for a patent. He could have scaled it slowly and carefully and protected his advantage. He didn't. He gave it away. And because he gave it away, it spread. Across Kenya, across Africa, across 5 continents. The solution that was shared freely became the solution that changed the world. What are you holding on to that needs to be released into the world? What knowledge, what tool, what observation are you protecting when you should be giving? Lesson 4. An unconditioned mind is a superpower. This is the lesson Richard Turere embodies more than any other. He did not know what was impossible. No teacher had yet told him that a 12-year-old without a science degree couldn't solve a wildlife conservation crisis. No institution had given him the frameworks that would have made his solution seem too simple to bother with. His mind was free, and a free mind, pointed at a real problem, with genuine commitment, is the most powerful force in human history. You have been conditioned, we all have, by school, by family, by systems that taught us what our place is, what our limits are, what belongs to the experts and what belongs to us. Richard Turere did not get that conditioning in time, and so he did something the experts couldn't. The question for you today is, what conditioning are you ready to put down? What have you been told is impossible that your own observation says otherwise? A boy in the Kenyan savannah with $10 changed the relationship between humans and lions across 5 continents. What are you waiting for? This is the History Disruptors. Every Sunday, we bring you another story of how humans faced impossible problems and found a way through when the world had given up looking. Because history is not just about the past. It is a blueprint for your future. Richard Turere grew up in a community being slowly destroyed by a problem no expert could solve. He was 9 years old when the responsibility landed on him. He had no laboratory, no funding, no scientific training, no system behind him. Just a problem, an observation, and a mind that still believed anything was possible. Expert solutions failed. Government programs failed. Conservation organizations failed. A 12-year-old cattle herder from Kitengela, Kenya, with $10 and salvaged parts, succeeded where they all fell short. He used to hate lions. He used to count the losses every morning and carry that weight into the night. Today, Lion Lights protects over 2,000 families across Kenya. It protects livestock in Tanzania, Botswana, Namibia, Argentina, and India. It protects leopards, pumas, hyenas, and elephants as well as lions. And Kenya's lion population, after decades of collapse, is beginning to recover. Richard Turere did not wait for permission. He did not wait for qualifications. He did not wait for someone with more credentials to notice what he had already seen. He walked into the dark with a flashlight, made one observation, and changed the world. If they did, you can too. I used to hate lions, but now, because my invention is saving my father's cows and lambs, I don't think I hate lions anymore. We can live with them without any conflict. Richard Turere, born 2001, Kitengela, Kenya, cattle herder, inventor, disruptor, and the boy who made peace with lions.